Japan is a nation admired around the world for its technology, culture, and discipline. But beneath this progress lies a constant struggle for survival. From ancient times until today, this island nation has faced repeated attacks from nature in the form of earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and devastating tsunamis. For many countries, an earthquake is a rare tragedy. For Japan, it is part of daily life. For centuries, the Japanese people have been forced to accept this reality, that they live on one of the most dangerous pieces of land on Earth. Every generation in Japan has grown up hearing stories of disasters, of whole towns washed away, of cities rebuilt from ashes, and of communities that learned to stand again after unimaginable loss. This is not just history. It is part of the living memory of the people, shaping how they build, how they plan, and even how they think about the future. In the last 1,300 years, Japan has been struck by more than 140 tsunamis. Each of these events brought destruction and changed lives forever. Altogether, millions of lives have been taken by these waves. One of the most terrifying events occurred in the 18th century. That year, the sea produced a tsunami so enormous that its waves rose higher than 90 meters. To imagine this, think of a wall of water as tall as a 30-story building, racing forward with unstoppable force. Entire fishing villages disappeared within minutes. Farmers who had been working in their fields were suddenly swallowed by the sea. Survivors described the scene as if the ocean itself had risen in anger to reclaim the land. And yet, this was not the last such disaster. With time, instead of calming down, the frequency of earthquakes and tsunamis in Japan has only grown. In modern times, Japan faces hundreds of earthquakes every single year. The earth shakes so often that people sometimes continue their daily work without even pausing. Imagine living in a country where the ground beneath you trembles almost daily. In some cases, 3 or 4 earthquakes are recorded in a single day. Japan has responded by turning preparation into a way of life. Children in schools practice earthquake drills as regularly as they study mathematics or language. Office workers are trained in evacuation procedures. Entire skyscrapers are designed with advanced technology that allows them to sway instead of collapsing when the earth moves. Yet, as strong as human engineering has become, nature has shown again and again that its power goes beyond anything humans can fully control. This truth was made clear on the 11th of March in the year 2011. On that day, an earthquake unlike any other struck beneath the Pacific Ocean, just east of the Oshika Peninsula. The earthquake shook the earth so violently that scientists later recorded it as the 4th largest earthquake in the history of the entire world and the strongest ever in Japan's written history. Beneath the ocean floor, tectonic plates shifted suddenly, releasing unimaginable energy. The seabed lifted, displacing an enormous volume of water. Within moments, that movement created a monster, a tsunami that would change Japan forever. The waves that rose from the sea on that day were beyond imagination. Towering more than 180 feet high, these walls of water raced toward the Japanese coast. They moved at a speed faster than most airplanes, more than 700 kilometers per hour. In a matter of minutes, the waves reached Sendai City. Entire neighborhoods vanished as the water pushed 10 kilometers inland. The sound was described as deafening, a roar of destruction that drowned out everything else. Houses broke apart like toys. Cars floated away like paper boats. Ships that had been anchored in the harbor were lifted and thrown onto the land. Farmlands turned into lakes. The force of the water was so great that even concrete buildings crumbled. Science had given Japan the ability to detect the earthquake, but predicting the tsunami with precision was impossible. The people received only 8 minutes of warning. 8 minutes to escape a force of nature moving at airplane speed. For thousands, that was not enough. More than 15,000 people lost their lives. Thousands more went missing, never to be found. Families were torn apart in an instant. Parents lost children, and children lost parents. More than 200,000 people were left homeless. To make matters worse, The disaster caused the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant to fail. Explosions, radiation leaks, and contamination created a nuclear nightmare alongside the natural one. The economic damage was estimated at more than $230 billion, making it the most expensive disaster in human history. But for the survivors, no amount of money could repair the emotional loss. Why does Japan face such endless disasters? The answer lies in geography. Japan sits directly on what scientists call the Pacific Ring of Fire. This ring stretches around the Pacific Ocean and is responsible for 90% of the world's earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Beneath this ring, several tectonic plates are constantly pushing against each other. They grind, slip, and crash, releasing huge amounts of energy. Japan is caught right in the middle of this battlefield. On top of that, 70% of the country is covered in mountains. The small portions of flat land suitable for building cities are mostly near the coast, exactly where tsunamis strike. Moving entire populations into the mountains is almost impossible. This combination of geography and geology means that Japan has no choice but to live under constant threat. Knowing this, Japan has worked tirelessly for decades to protect its people. One of its main defenses has been the construction of sea walls along the coast. These walls are designed to block or at least reduce the power of incoming waves. The idea of building sea walls goes back many decades. In the 1960s, after a typhoon devastated the village of Taro, Japan built a 2-kilometer-long and 10-meter-high seawall. This wall became a symbol of protection and gave the people confidence that they could survive the ocean's fury. Inspired by this success, Japan built similar walls in other coastal cities. For a time, these walls worked. Smaller tsunamis were blocked, and communities felt safer. But then came the tsunami of 2011, and the walls were put to the ultimate test. The walls built to stop waves of 8 meters were no match for the giant waves of that day, which rose more than 15 meters high. In some places, the waves simply climbed over the walls. In other places, the sheer force tore the walls apart. The disaster taught Japan a painful but important lesson. The sea is always stronger. Determined to do better, Japan invested more than $12 billion into building stronger defenses. New sea walls were constructed, stretching 400 kilometers along the eastern coast. These walls stand 15 meters high and have foundations reaching 25 meters into the ground. They are thicker, stronger, and built in a curved shape to push waves back. Engineers even created artificial tsunamis in laboratories to test how the walls would respond. For the first time, science and nature were made to fight each other in controlled experiments. Alongside these walls, Japan has built offshore breakwaters and created tsunami mitigation parks filled with trees. These trees serve a dual purpose. They break the speed of the water and trap heavy debris that the waves carry. Still, Japanese experts know one important truth. No man-made structure can stop nature completely. Rising sea levels caused by global warming, stronger storms, and the constant shaking of the earth ensure that the danger will never disappear. The real purpose of these walls is not to stop the sea forever, but to buy time. Time for families to run. Time for children to be taken to higher ground. Time for rescue systems to activate. In the face of nature's fury, a few extra minutes can mean the difference between life and death. Japan's fight is not about defeating nature, but about surviving it. And in this fight, courage, preparation, and resilience remain the greatest strengths of the Japanese people. This is the story of a nation that has learned to live side by side with one of the most dangerous forces of nature. No matter how many earthquakes, tsunamis, or storms strike, the people of Japan continue to rise again. They know that they cannot stop the waves, but they can prepare for them, resist them, and protect each other in the face of disaster. Every seawall, every warning system, and every evacuation drill is a reminder that survival is not about defeating nature. It is about respecting it. Japan has become an example for the entire world, showing how human courage, discipline, and technology can work together against impossible odds. But the truth is, the future is still uncertain. Scientists warn that even bigger earthquakes and tsunamis may strike one day. If that happens, Japan will once again stand at the front line